Oh no. Whoops. What's up everybody? Chelsea Studio here, and today we are talking about matching skin tones. What's up everyone? Welcome back to the studio. So today we are going to talk about how to mix and match skin tones to the character or person that you are drawing. This is a subject that can be really difficult, and there are a lot of variables whenever it comes to mixing skin tones. So I really want to make sure that I give you as much information as possible to make this as easy for you as possible. Before we get into it, I just want to remind you guys to like and subscribe to this video and make sure that you hit that notification bell so that you can not miss any videos from me in the future. And also, if you want to see any artwork from me, or if you would like to purchase any of my art, check out my Instagram, TikTok, and website. All right, without further ado, let's get started. If you have not already watched the color theory video that I made, you definitely need to watch that before you watch this video, because I'll be talking about a lot of things in this video that have to do with color theory because we are mixing colors. The next thing you need to know is that lighting affects the skin. So depending on what kind of lighting you have, if it's strong lighting, if it's soft, if it is a colored lighting like a red light or a blue light, and if it is like a candle or a glow type of lighting, all of those things are going to make your skin tones react differently. So we are only talking about skin tone in the most common lighting scenarios. That way it'll make it a little bit easier for my beginners out there. We are also only going to be talking about the base of the skin tone, and that is just the overall color of the skin. We are not going to be talking about the shadows or highlights because you can get those colors by mixing in other colors to the base. So the base skin tone is the most important that you will need to know. So let's get mixing. You can make skin tones with almost an unlimited combination of colors, and I think that every artist has their own favorite colors to use to mix skin tones. These are by no means the only color combinations that you can use. These are by no means the only color combinations you can use in order to get skin tones, but they are the ones that I tend to use the most often. So what I have here is a mixing palette. We're not going to talk about that. That's some ink. A mixing palette and some watercolor paper. I also have a brush that I will be using to mix my colors with, and I have, of course, my watercolor palettes. I'll be using this Winsor & Newton travel palette that I got from Michaels. So the first thing I want to do is activate my colors. The way that I like to start, and it is a little controversial because a lot of people say don't start with brown, but it just works for me, I guess. And I'm going to be starting with this burnt umber color. I like this color because it is a cooler brown, so I can add warmer tones to it and it won't get too warm. I know that doesn't sound like it makes sense, but yeah. So this is what I'm going to start with. Usually from here, it depends on the undertone of the skin. Undertones are what makes skin tones so difficult to actually match because it's kind of just like with makeup. That's how you need to find your foundation. That's how you need to find these colors that work best for you. Well, that undertone is a real thing, and the undertone you kind of have to really look for in some people. So knowing your undertones of either yourself or the model that you're looking at is super important. And really, the only way to figure that out if you aren't familiar with colors and color theory, or if you aren't trained, is to just swatch them out before you start painting with them. So let's say we just have someone like me, a warmer toned, lighter toned skin. The next thing that I would do is I would dip into this alizarin crimson. Red is very powerful, so if you use too much red, it's going to quickly look red and it will look less brown. But there are ways to counteract that. So I added in a little bit of that alizarin crimson, and then I personally like to add in a little bit of yellow, and I'm using a warm yellow here. The alizarin crimson is a cool red, And then I'm using this warm yellow. A little bit more red. And now on here, the thing about watercolors is that they're very transparent. So it's really hard to tell what color you have. That's why I always keep a scrap piece of paper next to me whenever I'm painting so I can swatch out my colors. So I'm actually just gonna go ahead and take this and just put a line here. And then if there is too much water, of course, you can always go back and either wait for it to dry a little bit or mix some more of that color. So that's one way. Another way of mixing a skin tone could be by using purples. So I have this palette over here that has a purple in it. I wouldn't recommend really mixing one because they're not going to be bright enough. If you happen to have a purple that's already mixed, that would work well. So I'm going to take a little bit of this purple, rinse my brush, and then I will dip into my yellow. And this works because purple and yellow are complementary colors, so they will be opposite each other and they tend to make brown. So then I have this yellowish skin tone here. And then what I can do to this one is add a little bit of that red. And it looks like I might need a touch more red. Ooh, too much. So if you put too much, what you can do is you can take a green, and in this case, since it's a cool red, I'm going to take a warm green, and you just add back in that opposite color. And that will mute it. Cool. So I'm going to just set some of this over here. And then I'm just going to take some water. Might have lightened it too much. Just like that. And you can see that using the purple instead of the brown as the undertone has made this just a little bit of a different hue. So this is a little bit more brown. This one's a little bit more red. So I'll show you one more way that you can mix a skin tone, and that is going to be with red, yellow, and green. So I'm going to do just a little bit of red, rinse my brush, get more yellow, I think I might have got too much yellow, but we'll see in a second. And then you want to get your green. Yeah, I need more red. Start with equal parts of whatever color you're trying to mix, and then you can adjust the levels after you have made your color. Gonna do a little bit more red here. And there we have our skin tone. And there you have it. This is a lot more of a peachy color. You can tell that whatever you use, whatever colors you use to start is going to adjust what your end skin tone looks like. So the best thing that you can do is just play around with the colors and try and figure out which ones work best for you. So these are all warm base skin tones, and I have also done some light skin tones as well as some dark skin tones. Now that we've done some of the warmer tones, let's do some of the cooler tones. Oh no. Whoops. Sorry guys, I didn't noticed that my rag was messing up my swatches. So for this, you're going to want your base to be something like a blue or a purple. So I'm going to start with the blue. Oof, that was a lot of blue. Blue is another one of those colors that can be really, really powerful. So just use it sparingly. Then we're going to go into our orange. And mix those two together. See how the blue is still super, super powerful? It's not letting the orange change it very much. There we go. Now we're starting to get a brown. Okay, so this is a lot cooler of a skin tone. So this one is a lot cooler of a skin tone compared to that one, and that's because I used more blue as the base. And then I can lighten it by adding some water if I wanted it to be a little bit lighter. And then adding more water to lighten it up even more. The hardest part for me is matching the undertone. So the rest is easy. Just make a lot of your base tone because it is so hard to get that color back. It's so time consuming to get that color again. Make a lot of it because not only are you going to use the base tone for the base, but you're also going to be using the base tone to mix in your shadows and mix in the highlights depending on your light sources. Now these principles can also be applied whenever you are using marker and colored pencil. So with marker and colored pencil, you would start with the base tone of whatever color it is. So if there was a warmer base tone, you might start with a red and you would very lightly color in the red and then start burnishing on top of that the colors that you need. So if you're interested in seeing me do a colored pencil tutorial video, please let me know in the comments below. Also for markers, the same thing. You would start with the lightest of whatever color it is. If it was a blue tone, like the lightest blue marker that you have as your base tone, and then you would do your skin tone on top of that, and it would give it a bluish toned glow. I know I'm saying tone a lot. Sorry. So if you'd like to see that video, you can also leave me a comment below for the marker tutorial. And that's basically it for skin tones. I know it seems like a simple process, but learning to see the colors is probably the hardest thing, and also knowing your color theory, which is why I've made that color theory video before this one, because there are, as you saw in the color theory video, so many different ways to make brown, and usually brown is the base for whatever skin tone that you are going to be using, unless you're drawing something cool like a fairy or an alien or whatever, a mermaid. But most of the time, your skin tones are going to be a brown or beige of some kind. Okay guys, I hope you found this video helpful. If you have any other questions that I didn't address here, please leave them in the comment section below. And if you would like to see those videos about colored pencil skin tones as well as marker skin tones, please let me know in the comments. Like I said in the beginning, if you want to see any artwork from me, or if you'd like to purchase some of my art, you can check out my social media as well as my website. Other than that, I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you next week. Bye!